Welcome to Springboro 45066, Part 2, the TV news magazine of Springboro, Ohio. On Part 2 of our November-December show, Carrie visits local author Janet Irvin as she discusses her awards as well as her new book. Lisa at the Springboro Library talks holiday programming, and the boys at Heatherwoode Golf Course talk winter events and a new way of navigating the links. Carrie talks to the Gypsy and the Hatter owners, Stacy and Rowan Moore. And in Springboro Schools, we meet the Treasurer and Chief Financial Officer, Terrah Floyd. On Meet Your Neighbor, we'll talk to longtime resident and owner of Image Market, Marsha Kelley. Carrie and I are still at Heather's Coffee, and it's all happening right now. Another Part 2, here we are.
Here we are, November, December, Part 2.
And I'm so thankful we have a lot of other nice things coming up. Great show again. Carrie?
Well, we're at Heather's Cafe and Coffee, perched in front of the fireplace.
With our hot chocolate.
With our hot chocolate, because
Yeah,
it is
cheers.
chilly outside. So thank you to Heather's and her staff for allowing us to use her location for the show. Let's jump right in. I'm really excited about the first segment. I got to sit down and talk to Janet Irvin, retired educator and local author. I mean, she's just a mover and shaker.
Let's go see Janet.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm sitting here with Janet Irvin, retired educator, local author, community activist. I think she's involved in just a little bit of everything. But today we're going to talk about your author career now that you have retired. Your 2 novels, I know you've got quite a bit to tell us about. Welcome to the show, first of all.
Well, thank you, Carrie, for having me on. It's an honor to be with one of my former students who has done so well and given so much back to our community as well.
Thank you.
I love teaching, I still do. I miss the classroom, but not all the work that goes with it. But now I'm committed to my new career, which is writing.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, I understand you've got The Dark End of the Rainbow. That was your first mystery novel of sorts, and an award-winning mystery novel.
And it's a bit of an interesting story. It's not a traditional path to publication.
Okay.
Although I had a fairly successful short story career. I published in a lot of literary, online and journalism, magazine journalism publications. I entered a contest where you all had to submit only the first 3 pages of your novel.
Oh, wow.
And they chose from among those entries 5 finalists. My 3 pages were the finalists, so I had to send in the entire novel, and then found out that I was a finalist, and it was quite an experience to have them announce my name over the electronic airwaves.
That's unbelievable. Congratulations.
It's very fun and very exciting and thrilling. And part of the winning was the publication of the novel. The man for whom this is named is Jeremiah Healy.
Okay.
He was quite a successful mystery writer himself. He passed away, and that is why they decided to name the contest in his honor.
So now you've got a second novel, a new one coming out.
No,
Rules,
it already is
it's
out.
already out.
It came out last November.
Oh, okay. The Rules of the Game.
This novel is darker,
Okay.
grittier than the first one. It takes place in the same fictional town. I created a town, Hopewell, that exists somewhere in the ethosphere between Springboro and Franklin and I-75.
Sure.
So I was able to take parts of all of those towns and kind of roll them over into the story. One of the things that's fun for readers, local readers, is to read both the novels and to find names and places that are familiar to them. So
Sure.
it's kind of like those little hidden Easter eggs in movies.
Absolutely.
You can look for those and say, oh yeah, I know who she's talking about.
course.
Although, of course, it's fictional.
Of course.
The stories are fictional.
Now this one deals with a serial killer.
It does.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so the main character, Cammie Moss, is a learning disabilities teacher and a basketball coach. And she has just come out of an abusive relationship. She's not happy where she is in her career, and she's kind of under the mantle of her father, who was a very, very successful coach at the high school before her.
Okay.
So into this life come two new people at the same time that she discovers a photo that causes her to question everything she thought she knew about her family's history,
Oh my goodness.
as well as all the men in her life, including the one who is stalking her. And so as these ghosts of her past rise, she races to find out who the identity of her tormentor before she and one of her students become the next victims.
Wow. So what's next for you as an author?
Well, I have two works in progress.
Okay.
The one that I am spending most of my time on right now is a little bit different. It's a little more literary, although it still involves a mystery. Okay. A Turkish poet and an American photographer witness a bombing in Istanbul.
Oh my.
They become the targets of the secret police, as well as a band of thieves, for reasons that become clear in the story. And they actually go on the run in an attempt to evade their pursuers.
Wow.
And as they run, they acquire kind of a cast of other characters that join them. There's a little bit of the Odyssey feeling to it. And they have to answer seriously the question of how much are they willing to risk for the truth and also for their art, since they are both artists.
Wow.
So,
well, I'm sure that our viewers are just dying to know where they can get copies of these books.
they are available at all of the online, Amazon, Barnes & Noble.
Okay.
They are also available in ebook, Nook, and Kindle.
Oh, wonderful.
But something that's coming up that I'd really like to talk about is at Christmas in Springboro, November 17th, 18th, and 19th.
Yes.
We're going to have our third annual Meet the Authors event in the Springboro Historical Museum. 8 local authors, plus myself, will be available on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to sell their books, to autograph their books, to talk to the public about them.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for all that you do and for all that you continue to do.
Thank you for having me on the show. Come and see us at Christmas in Springboro.
You know I'll be there. I don't have a choice. Back to you, Mayor.
Thanks, Jan. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Isn't she great? All right, well, let's stick with the literary theme we've got going here at the top of our show, and let's visit the library.
Thanks, Carrie, and greetings from the library. Today we'll start out with some teen news for winter. Teens 11 through 18 are invited to participate in the Teen Winter Reading Program. It runs through January 31st of 2018. Anytime after the 1st of December, teens can pick up a reading log to participate. Reading for school counts towards that time that you've read. If you have any questions, call the library at 937-748-3200. Adults can start the new year off right with Attack the Stack, organizing your paperwork. Lori Furston from Forte Organizers will show you how to overcome the chaos of paper clutter on your desk and on your countertops by creating and easily maintaining a filing system. This program will take place on Tuesday, January 23rd from 6:30 to 8 o'clock at the Springboro Library. Winter story times for children will begin on January 15th. Baby time is Monday at 9:30. Toddlers have 3 times from which to pick: Monday at 10:30, Thursday at 9:30 and 10:30. Preschool story times continue to be held on Mondays and Thursdays at 11:30, and families are welcome to attend a story time on Thursday evening at 6:30. Don't forget that throughout the year, new children's books are being purchased and kept on display in the children's area immediately to the right as you enter the front door of the library. Stop by to see what's new in the area of children's literature. Back to you.
Thanks, Lisa.
Back-to-back literary can never get too smart.
I know. We are a very smart show. We're very highbrow.
Well, we're going to slow it down a little bit now by going to Heatherwoode.
We are. Let's go check out what the guys at Heatherwoode have going on over the winter.
And there's going to be a really neat picture of you.
You know, they let us try out the one-person carts that are exclusive to Heatherwoode. Man, they're pretty fun.
Did they nickname it the Mergemobile?
They should.
Okay.
Thanks, Carrie. Hey, Matt, I know it's cold outside, but we're headed down to the PGA show in Orlando where it's nice and sunny and warm, but we've got some big plans down there, I think, this year. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those?
Well, you're right, Tom. It is pretty chilly out there right now, but the PGA show, can't wait for it, really excited. For the first time, we're going to do live updates on our new YouTube channel. You can find that by searching Heatherwoode Golf Club. We're also going to post them to Facebook and Twitter. We're going to see all the hottest new equipment. People are going to get to see it before it even hits the shelves.
You know, last year we were down there and we found our single-seat golf carts. If you haven't seen those, we've got them here. We're the only ones in the country to have those. They've been a huge hit. And I know we're going to find some things like that down there again this year. We're looking forward to it. Also, Erica is our events coordinator. We have some dates left for the remainder of this year, so if you want to get in contact with Erica about booking either your wedding or special occasion, please do that. Our phone number is 937-748-3222, and her extension is 5. She'd love to hear from you, and again, we've got a few dates left, so please give her a call.
Thanks, guys, and thank you for letting us try out your carts. That was a lot of fun.
That was funny. Well, we're going to Gypsy and the Hatter.
We are. So people that are pretty special to me and that are insanely talented and have a really neat story and a really beautiful jewelry line that is handcrafted, one of a kind, and exclusively created right here in Springboro.
And go right with that dress.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go see them. Thanks, Mayor. We are here with Springboro's own Gypsy and the Hatter. Now, we've all heard a little bit of buzz about Gypsy and the Hatter, jewelry designers, top hat designers, bridal designers. Stacy Moore, Rowan Moore, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, I get a handshake. Thank you, sir.
So formal.
He is so formal. I love it. All right, so Gypsy and the Hatter is your jewelry line. You guys are Springboro residents, born and raised.
Yep.
I know you're a Springboro grad from many moons ago, although
Yeah.
not as many as me.
Two less, substantially less, two less.
But still Borough born and raised.
Yeah.
And now you're raising your family here in Springboro, and you've created a business.
Yeah. An accidental kind of fun success though.
You kind of Forrest Gumped your way into this.
We did.
Really
We
awesome
did.
jewelry line.
Yeah.
All right, so if you would, tell us a little bit about the backstory. How did Gypsy and the Hatter come to fruition?
Well, Ro is on the autism spectrum, and he was in Springboro schools, which was fantastic, and I want to make sure that everybody knows the reason he's homeschooled isn't Springboro specific, and he just needed some more hands-on learning. Things needed to be a little different for him. And you know him enough, he reads so much. He just wants to read, he wants to learn about people, and he's very creative. So I was designing bridal gowns, but there's no way that I could pull off doing that and being home with him. So we needed more practical things. So we started to do the top hats, slip dresses, simple things that he could help me with in the sewing studio. And the jewelry was kind of an accident. I wanted him to get more math and science, and I knew that resin jewelry existed. It just wasn't anything I thought was cool or that interested me design-wise, but I thought that there might be a way to make it fit kind of the vibe that we have. So he would be doing math. He has to figure out how much resin we need. It's a chemical compound. He's mixing chemistry. So I thought it would be cool to maybe add it into the rest of the existing line to balance it out, give him more stuff, and then it gave customers more options as well. But then it took off so much that now we never have time to make anything else, and I haven't sewn anything in the past 7 months because we're just trying to keep moving with the jewelry. It's been crazy.
Sure. And the jewelry is featured locally in multiple locations. I know it on Main Street, you can find it at Shop Smitten, but also internationally. Online, of course. But let's talk a little bit about your process and how, all of this kind of comes from the field, because it is botanical jewelry, to our wrist or our neck.
And again, the main point of it is that it's his education. And so he gets so much just from this jewelry. There are so many things going into it. We have multiple gardens at the house. We have flower gardens, we have herb gardens, we have our veggie garden, which doesn't really have anything to do with the line, but we do have that. So he's gardening, he's learning all of that. He takes care of everything, he weeds it. He's the one to water it. He handles all of that. That's just kind of the first of many steps. It's such a long process before a piece is actually done and someone's wearing a piece.
Right.
Because we seed started them. They're growing in the garden. The garden's tended to. We go out and harvest everything. Everything that stands still in our house has something hanging from it. There are drying botanicals everywhere. And then the smaller pieces we press in parchment paper. Okay. So there are books stacked also everywhere, all over the house, with Post-it notes, dill from 8/24 or whatever. Sure. So we do all that. They have to press for at least a month or so, 3 weeks to a month. Okay. The things that dry, it completely depends on the plant, but those press, and then we organize them into little envelopes, and they're in index cards, little dividers behind index cards. Wow. And then whenever we get a new thing, we get out our books. We have a ton of books, and we research all the lore.
Right, because there's a meaning behind each piece of Gypsy and the Hatter jewelry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My grandmother knew a lot of that, and I always thought it was so cool that she always had some kind of like wives' tale to go with whatever she was getting out of the garden or whatever. And so it was just kind of expanding on that, and then finding out so many different things. There's a lot of Native American lore regarding botanicals and what they help you with or draw or do. And then there's kind of the old Southern wisdom, which is what she knew, and that's definitely there. And interesting, there's the Victorian language of flowers, where they used it to communicate with one another. That's also just so cool and interesting. So we have books on all of that, and it's something else, again, it's another element for him. He's pulling them up and he's researching whatever the new botanical is that we're about to use in multiple sources to write down and figure out what it is.
Is there anything you want to say, buddy, before we wrap it up?
Back to you, Mayor.
Thanks, Rowan. Appreciate you being on the show. Great job. Well, we're going to the schools, right?
We are. I had the opportunity to sit down with Terrah Floyd, the CFO and treasurer of Springboro Schools, and she's a very busy lady right now.
Oh, budgets, I can just imagine. Well, let's go see you girls.
All right. Thanks, Mayor. We are at the central office for the Springboro Board of Education with Terrah Floyd. She is our treasurer, CFO of Springboro Schools. Terrah, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So we want to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do with the school system. So I know you've been with us, approximately 4 years now. Tell me, what does the CFO and treasurer do?
Well, a lot of different kinds of things. We wear lots of different hats. I run the day-to-day operations, financial operations of the school district alongside the superintendent and the administration. I do lots of things like I set the budget, I monitor the budget daily, I do the appropriations. I have lots of compliance-related items that I have to submit to the local, state, and federal government. Some of those items would be a 5-year forecast. We have to submit a 5-year forecast in October of each year, as well as an update in May, and that's per statute. In that 5-year forecast has all of our projected revenue and expenditures with the information that we have available to us today. So it's a forecast, it's not considered a budget, and I think that's one of the things that people try to tie you to that 5-year forecast, and it's basically just what we know today, this year, and 4 years in the future of what we believe is going to happen in our schools. I do grants for the school district, so all of the reporting for that, as well as making sure the spending is in line with all of the regulations. I do all of the records requests, which seem to be a popular thing in this district. So I handle all of those. We do board minutes, keep all of the minutes of the board of everything that transpires. I do the tax budget. I secure all the financing for the district.
Wow.
I also have to someone, I think actually Scott mentioned before that I'm like the scorekeeper. So basically anything that the board approves financially in terms of spending for educational purposes, I have to kind of keep a tally of that. So that way I can show the fiscal implications of all of those different things that the board has approved to be spent in our district, not only now, but the future implications of what those approvals will cost us long term. So there's a lot of different things that go into this.
I was going to say, that's definitely not a summers off position.
No.
So you are here 12 months out of the year.
Yes, that and then some.
Yeah.
But yes.
Okay. So what's your favorite thing about being the CFO, treasurer? You know, if one thing really sticks out in your mind.
There's a lot of things that I actually really like. I'm a very detailed person, so I like being very accurate. I think that's one of my favorite things, is to really analyze everything, and so anything that I put forth, I want to be able to come back to it at any given time and feel, to be able to see that I actually was extremely accurate and that all of my efforts reflect that. So
Sure.
I'm a very, I don't know, that's the kind of nerdy accounting person in me, but I like to be very accurate. It's very black and white, and I like to be very transparent about it.
Well, and I'm sure the community appreciates that too. When you're representing the school system, that's so important. So what would be a common misconception then about your position as treasurer?
Probably the biggest misconception is that people usually think the superintendent is my boss. So actually how it works is the Board of Education, they set policy, and then they hire the superintendent and treasurer to run the day-to-day operations of the school district. So the superintendent runs the educational operations and the treasurer runs the fiscal operations. And the two of us are equal, and we basically, together between the two of us, run the school district.
It's outstanding. It really is. Well, thank you for joining us. If a member of our community would like to reach out to you with questions or whatnot, how's the best way to reach you?
You can call my office at, 937-748-6002, or you can email me at tfloyd@springboro.org.
Terrah, thank you so much for having us this afternoon. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
You too as well.
Thank you. Back to you, Mayor.
Great job, Carrie. Great job. And thank you, Terrah, for being on our show. We appreciate all you do for the schools. Well, it's that time again, part 2, and we have as equal interesting person on the show as we had in part 1. Marsha Kelley has been around Springboro for quite some time, and she has contributed so much in so many ways. And her shop here in town, in the Historic District, she's done so many donations to so many people to help them out. And it's an honor and a privilege to have her on the show. So let's go talk to Marsha. This is part 2 of 45066, and we have Marsha Kelley, the Meet Your Neighbor segment. Marsha, welcome to the show. We're dressed in black. Great.
Thank you.
And she owns Image Market with an I. So when you go by and you see Image Market, this is where you want to stop. And she'll give you the tour, and she'll sell you some nice stuff. Anyway, Marsha, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, we've lived in Springboro about 23 years. My husband is retired from the Air Force, and that's what brought us here. We raised our children here. They've all graduated from Springboro High School. Now they've all graduated from college. Some of them are married, and I have some grandchildren.
How many grandchildren do you have?
3.
All right.
Yeah.
How many children do you have?
5.
All right. Okay, that's good. And they're all close by mostly?
No, they are not.
They are not? Oh.
Unfortunately,
That's
they
tough.
are 2 in Atlanta, 2 in Hilton Head, and 1 in California.
Well, you get to visit some nice places.
It's true, I do, yeah.
Okay, well, how long have you been married?
Gosh, been married 41 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? Well, you're on this show, obviously, because you are a business owner, but that's just very, very secondary. You're on the show because you are so involved in the community. You name Marsha Kelley, that name gets out there, it resonates with people, they know who you are, because you give back to so many different things. You're involved heavily with the chamber, and that is a neat thing to be involved in your community that much. So what drives you? What makes you want to be so passionate about being involved in the business community as well as just the community in general?
I have a love for Springboro, and it stems back to when we first got here. We were here for about 3 years, and our friends passed away, and we inherited 3 children. And so we went from 2 children to 5.
Okay.
And at that point in time, I should probably back up a little bit. The wife passed away first. The husband passed away secondly, both in vehicular accidents. And he came back here. My husband was in Korea for a year, and he came back here. When my husband came back, we had a big party, surprise party, and he came back.
Welcome home party.
Yes, and I thought he was just coming so that he could welcome David home, but what he was really coming for was to see if he really, if something ever happened to him, would want his children to be in Springboro. Well, I mean, the community just came out. We had a big party. It was great, and long story short, we continued to be the guardians of the children in case something happened. He passed away a couple years later, and we got these children. Well, when the children came to us, this community was unbelievable. Some of the things that happened are, first of all, they had a huge party for us at Heatherwoode, and people gave us things like season passes to Kings Island, grocery store, gift certificates. I didn't have to cook for a month, just all sorts of things.
Love in the air.
Just love, yeah, they were so kind, and the community principals accepted the children. Their teachers came to our house to meet them. You just don't find that anywhere else. And this is the best place to raise a family. There is no better place. So our children became active, played sports in high school. I became active in the athletic boosters. I'm still on the board of the athletic boosters.
Oh, that's cool.
A couple of our children got athletic scholarships. So I just love this community, you know.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about your chamber involvement? I know you're at all the ribbon cuttings and different things all the time. So how do you find time to be on the chamber too, in addition to everything else you do?
Well, I love it, you know, and you become friends with members of the chamber. You try to do business with chamber members. You know that you're going to get a good quality product. You're going to be treated right. It's your friend that is, you know, handling your business. So, and I want to give back to that, help the community grow, become better.
Well, on behalf of obviously our country, I want to thank your husband for serving in the Air Force and for you standing by his side, because none of us could get through the service if it wasn't for our spouses. I mean, that's a very important part, and so that's very good. But I also want to commend you from my heart for what you've done for those children. Not everybody could have done what you did, what you and your husband have done to take that responsibility and make a difference in them kids' lives. That's a wonderful thing.
On the flip side, it's a blessing to us too.
And it's a blessing for all of it. It's a win-win all the way around, right?
Situation, yes. And in this community, you know, it takes a village to raise.
Yeah,
right?
takes a family to raise a village to raise a family, or something like that.
It takes a village to raise a family or raise a child.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Well, why don't you say something to the audience in your closing remarks? Do you have anything you'd like to say to tell the audience?
I guess just to reiterate that I love Springboro, and I'm so happy to be here and the way life has turned out for us. And I hope everybody learns the same love of Springboro. If they get involved, they will.
Marsha Kelley, meet your neighbor.
Basically, this is our workspace. We have 2 heat press machines where we can heat press garments. And then we have embroidery machines. These are single head embroidery machines, so you can do 1 piece at a time of embroidery. This is a 4-head embroidery machine. Our newest machine, it's about a year old, is very technical. It sews very well. You might want to take a shot at this. This is the panel that tells you what the stitch count is, and you know, as it sews, it'll go along the pattern. So this tells us this is 37,000 stitches. So that's a piece that we're doing right now. 37,000 stitches is a lot of stitches. The Springboro Panther head with Springboro Panthers is about 9,000 stitches, so that tells you kind of the difference. And so that's just a fraction of what we do here at Image Market, but thanks for coming by and seeing us.
Thanks, Marsha. Glad to have you on the show. You do a lot. We thank you very, very much from our hearts. Well, we're just completed part 2.
And as we head into the holidays, all of us at 45066 want to wish you and your family a wonderful Merry Christmas, a happy and prosperous New Year, and we'll see you in 2018.
Ho, ho, ho.